And Pradeep, we have seen 4 different killings just this year as far as the Kashmiri Hindus are concerned in separate attacks that have happened. These are school teachers, these are civilians as well as people who are working in government posts who have been targeted. And now they have also been stopped from in fact moving out of their own localities as their gates have been shut. Is that the only solution that the authorities see?
So far as authorities are concerned, they are saying that why they have shut the gates, reason being that they do not want them to protest outside. There is every possibility that terrorists can target them. The second reason they are giving that if they start moving from Kashmir Valley to Jammu, all that what they have achieved during the last several years, that will be simply wiped out because they wanted them to be there. They wanted once again to restore the composite culture. The fabric of that was torn apart by the Kalashnikov that came from Pakistan's side. So that the reason that they want them to be there. But the third question is that one should even ask government also, if you really want Kashmiri Pandits or the Kashmiri Hindus or other employees to be there, then the responsibility of the government is to provide them security, because there is a flaw in the system. After killing of Rahul Bhatt, there was an order from the Lieutenant Governor's side that all these employees need to be transferred to district headquarters. But here in case of Rajni Bala, why Rajni Bala was not transferred? Because Gopalpura is considered to be one of those vulnerable areas. That is the question the family members had been asking. Yesterday, while I was interacting with husband of Rajni Bala, he also said, had this decision been taken in time, Rajni Bala would have been alive today. So why it is taking so much time? That means there are some people who are still part of that ecosystem. There are some people who are still trying to help terrorists generate fear, because if the decision would have been taken the very moment that governor had asked them to transfer these employees to the district headquarters, many lives would have been saved. Rajni Bala would have been saved.
In a way, Pradeep, it seems that the genocide continues because Kashmiri Pandits, the Hindus in the valley, are still being targeted. Stay on with us, Pradeep. Ashok Pandit is also with us on the broadcast, but let's take a quick look at a ground report.
We're right here at the Batwara locality, and the park behind me is the place where ever since Rahul Bhatt's killing, Kashmiri Pandits were protesting. But today it wears a deserted look, and only cops are present in this particular park to make sure that protests do not happen. I'll ask my VJ Abbas to pan and show you that there are cops deployed inside the park to make sure that these protests do not unfold. And the colony has already been sealed. Kashmiri Pandits say they haven't been allowed to move out at several key locations, and also there's a deployment of a bulletproof vehicle of the Jammu and Kashmir police here at the road. And every morning we will see Kashmiri Pandits raising slogans here. There were tent also which was pitched there on the ground in this park, but today it is completely deserted, and it seems like the government has not allowed any protest to happen, because yesterday this road was completely blocked, and then protests started happening, in which during the press conference the representative came out and said that we have given government an ultimatum of 24 hours to come out with a concrete or solid plan, otherwise they will move out from Kashmir Valley, and that is something which is worrisome for the government. But yes, these areas have been sealed where Kashmiri Pandits are residing and have been protesting. What happens next, we don't know, but the government has to answer several questions. With camera person Abbas, Ishan Mani for Times Now.
All right, going across to Ashok Pandit, who also joins us live on this broadcast. And Ashok Pandit, we saw that tweet that you had written and addressed to the Prime Minister as well. You have now urged him to in fact relocate all those Kashmiri Hindus out of the valley area because you now fear for their lives. You included who are part of the community. Why did you address that tweet, and what is your sentiment today, seeing what is happening there?
Because I feel that my Prime Minister is a very strong Prime Minister. It's a government which has abolished 370 and 35A. It's a government which takes solid, strong decisions, and the world panics, after the decisions taken by this government. So if we have this kind of a government, a strong government in our country, why are the Kashmiri Pandits not being protected and are feeling safe? Why are the Kashmiri Pandits and other minority community members being killed day by day, every third day? Why there is a sense of insecurity in Kashmiri Pandits? And I very strongly feel that the machinery of Jammu and Kashmir, the bureaucrats of Jammu and Kashmir, the LG, the entire system of Jammu and Kashmir is not reporting right ground level things of Kashmir to Delhi. So I want a delegation of Kashmiri Pandits, especially the employees of Kashmiri Pandits and other minorities from Jammu who are working in Kashmir, to take a delegation. I want to go with them to the Prime Minister and brief him what are the real ground level realities of Kashmir, so that he knows that what is truth. And we are well-wishers of the Prime Minister. We are the well-wishers of this country. We belong to this country, and we have a right to knock at the doors of our Prime Minister, the leader of this country. So this is an emotional outburst. This is a practical outburst where I am knocking at the doors of the head of the family that listen to us, see what is the condition of the minorities in Kashmir, and for heaven's sake, don't use us to prove to the world that Kashmir is fine, Kashmir is heading towards Naya Kashmir. There might be other good things, but I, as an individual, I as a person who's been suffering 32 years of genocide in Kashmir, I cannot now continue to live in this atmosphere of genocide. I cannot.
Absolutely.
And I have a right to live.
Unfortunately,
the Constitution has provided me
for you and for the Kashmiri Hindus and Pandits living in the valley, the suffering still continues. But there's a very important point that you raised. You spoke about ground realities. Let's go across to Pradeep and try and understand what really is happening in Kashmir. One aspect of the ground reality that we do know is that the terrorists are being neutralized every single day. Top commanders have been eliminated. Post 370, Naya Kashmir is being talked about. There's a reduction in the terror incidents. There's a reduction in stone pelting. Where has the system and the authority gone wrong in providing security and protection to the Kashmiri Pandits?
See, that's what, Amita, I was talking about. Why, if I feel that that the administration had not been able to do enough. Because when Rahul Bhatt was killed, there was an order from the divisional commissioner side. As per that order, all the Kashmiri Hindu employees who are putting up in Kashmir Valley, they were to be transferred to the district headquarters. Even after that, you must have seen that Rajni Bala continued to work in Gopalpura area in Kulgam, and that's considered to be the terrorist infested area. Yesterday, in fact, the former Rajya Sabha member also, Lave also said the same thing to the chief education officer. He said that your hands are soaked in blood. He said that if I can't move in those areas, how come you expect that the Kashmiri Hindus and the Dogras from the Jammus will be going to those places and serving there? So those are the militancy infested area. The second important thing is that things might have changed. Stone pelting incidents have come down. Terror commanders are being eliminated. But what has not changed is that civil society continues to remain in mute mode. Civil society was completely silent in 90s, and civil society is completely silent even today. When Yasin Malik was convicted, we saw that some people came out. They started pelting stone. Mehbooba Mufti started raising voice. Umar Abdullah started speaking. But this time, nobody is uttering a word. If you can speak for terrorist Yasin Malik, why Mehbooba Mufti you can't speak for Kashmiri Hindus? Why you can't speak for Rajni Bala? Every time you are trying to put blame on the government, but you will not be criticizing, you will not be hitting out at Pakistan and Pak proxies. And even today the civil society is not coming out. I often say that this silence, this criminal silence, is more dangerous than violence. I've got people here with us. What you say has gone wrong, and what are your demands right now? Because you are here at Rajni Bala's residence since morning. What do you really demand?
I would like to say to the current government that since a program which was a POJK program was organized in Jammu, you might have noticed since that day these kind of activities has been increased. So they have initiated, they have pinpointed those anti-elements to start these kind of activities again, and they are trying to show their power. And the current government, they are totally failed in saving the life of people. They are trying to control, they are trying to block the people, but they are failed to provide the security to the people of Jammu. It is shown everywhere that Jammu and Kashmir is living a normal life, that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are safe, but actually this is the ground reality. The central government is playing on the lives of the Jammu and Kashmir innocent people. Today again, one more precious life we have lost. We have lost a mother, we have lost a wife, we have lost a daughter who her only fault was she was serving her duty. Her only fault was she was a resident of JNK, and her only fault was...
See, that is in fact the sentiment here. Amita, give me a minute. I'll speak to the member parliament also. Jugal Kishore is also sitting here. I'll be talking to him. जुगल किशोर जी, सबका ये कहना है कि एक तरफ तो प्रेशर्स जाने जा रही हैं, जिंदगियां जा रही हैं, मतलब कि वो जिंदगियां छीन रहे हैं पाकिस्तान और पाकिस्तान के आतंकवादी। दूसरी तरफ आप कश्मीरी पंडित्स के, जो हिंदूज के फंडामेंटल राइट छीन रहे हैं प्रोटेस्ट करने का, आप इस नेशनलिस्ट कम्युनिटी को प्रोटेस्ट भी नहीं करने दे रहे, अपनी जान के लिए प्रोटेस्ट भी नहीं करने दे रहे, यहां आने नहीं दे रहे, जान बचाने नहीं दे रहे, ऐसा क्यों?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है। देखिए, सबको राइट है कि वो प्रोटेस्ट भी करते हैं और अपनी जान बचाने के लिए जहां भी जाना चाहें जा सकते हैं, धरना कर सकते हैं, प्रदर्शन कर सकते हैं, सब कुछ कर सकते हैं, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं। लेकिन उस धरने प्रदर्शन में भी उनकी सुरक्षा तो होनी चाहिए ना। धरने प्रदर्शन के कारण भी उनकी सुरक्षा पर सेंध लगे तो वो वैसा धरना प्रदर्शन भी तो नहीं करना चाहिए। और दूसरी रही बात, ये जो घटना घटी है, इस घटना का तो हम सबको दुख है। हम नहीं चाहते कि भाई दोबारा से कोई ऐसी घटना घटे। उसके लिए सरकार को इंतजाम करना चाहिए, सुरक्षा मुहैया करवानी चाहिए, ताकि ये लोग जो है वो कश्मीर घाटी में अपनी सेवाएं दे सकें।
सरकार में तो आप ही हैं, सरकार कौन है? जब आप कहते हैं सरकार को करानी चाहिए, ये तो सरकार आप ही की है।
Pradeep,
तो कौन provide
continue to stay with